Let me get some water. A little bit more. Hello. Welcome back to another video. Today I was thinking about the Joker trailer, the teaser trailer that came out like almost 7 years ago. And the trailer was so good, bro. Personally, I would say that it was probably one, if not the best trailer I've ever seen. It was one of the best trailers I've ever seen. The trailer was so good that although I enjoyed the movie and I really liked it, the trailer to me, the presentation of it seemed even better than the movie itself. Even though the movie was top notch, the trailer was that good. And I'm talking about the teaser trailer, because usually teaser trailers, they show you like that's like a snippet of the actual trailer, and then the actual trailer came out. That was amazing too. But the trailer was so good, it impacted me from a cinematic videographer perspective in such a way that I even remember where I was when I first watched it. It was like one of those. Usually you have those moments when, like, I don't know, you visited your favorite country or your favorite location, or you listen to your favorite album of music, or your favorite food, you remember this and that. But a trailer, which usually isn't like, obviously people will have like, oh, I remember when I watched my favorite movie growing up, but a trailer is usually, it's just a trailer, right? But the trailer was so good, it moved me so much that I remember where I was when I first watched that trailer. I was in college, I was in the library on the ground floor, and I was in one of like the media booths or whatever. And I remember it was in the morning too. I didn't have class yet, and I was just kind of like sitting there chilling. And I was on YouTube. I got a notification that the Joker trailer dropped, and I knew it was gonna drop soon. I heard people talking about it and whatnot, but I didn't know it was gonna drop. And it dropped, and I sit there and watched that trailer like 12 times in a row. It was that good to me. And obviously, the Joker by Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker by Heath Ledger are two completely different Jokers, although there are similarities. I wouldn't, like, some people like, oh, who was the better Joker? Was it Heath or was it Joaquin? They played their role very well for what they needed to portray in terms of the Joker. The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. Heath Ledger, he put it all on the table when it came to playing that Joker role, but so did Joaquin Phoenix. Which Joker was more exciting to watch? I would probably say probably Heath Ledger's Joker, because the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was like a psychological analysis of how the Joker became to be. That was what that movie was meant for. But then the Dark Knight, you don't know that with the Joker that's portrayed in the movie by Heath Ledger. He's already himself, and he's acting and doing what he needs to do to portray the villain role in an action hero movie. But at the end of the day, I give both of them their props for playing that role. But in this video, I wanted to talk about how the Joker is braver than most people. I want to explain that. So I'm going to preface this video before I even get into that. I'm not condoning or in support of the behavior of the Joker. The Joker wasn't a good person. He's not a good guy. He commits what he's known for, atrocities. He kills innocent people. He's not just. So in many ways, he is a true villain. He's evil, right? But at the same time, although he portrays this level of evil, he's still a very complicated character. And for me, he's one of my favorite characters in comics in general, whether it's Marvel or DC. And he's the best villain, personally, I think, in DC. Marvel villain, if we go toe-to-toe villain, I'd have to really sit and think about that. But in terms of DC, he is the best villain. And his character is complicated because it's like, you never fully, whether you're watching the one from The Dark Knight or even the one from the Joker from just the Joker movie, although they portray elements of how he became the Joker with the mental illness and all that, you don't fully get the full scope of how it transitioned into that. Because even in the Joaquin Phoenix movie, he was already a grown man, so there's like a lot you miss from the childhood. And obviously, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie by now, that's crazy. But in the movie, he finds out that he was abused and his mom wasn't. She was also mentally ill and blah blah blah, and that all that coincided to him having his mental illness, and then that was how he snapped and then turned into the Joker fully. But the reason why I say that he's braver than most people is because the way I interpreted the Joker from both sides, from the Joaquin Phoenix side and the Heath Ledger side, the Joker's main purpose was to basically show the world how corrupt and fragile the world was. And he was adamant about exposing high-end leaders and the government and the infrastructure that's making the system, to expose how corrupt it was, and how everyone that was pretending to be good and for the people and upstanding citizen or whatever the case may be, they were just as corrupt as your known thug. That was what his play was. Now obviously he went down the path of destruction in terms of wanting to prove his point so bad that he was willing to kill people over it to prove the point. That's bad. But the reason why I say he's braver than most people is because even though his methods were very crazy, of lack of better terms, he was adamant about turning his back on the fabric of society and truly living out what he believes to be true, which was to expose the world and the corrupt system and the government and whatnot. And the thing is, like, some of you might listen to this and think I'm like, this is a far-fetched, because no one should want to be like the Joker, obviously. But I do believe that in movies and in life, even in heinous situations, you can extract something from it that can, if you look at it a certain way, it can actually benefit your life and make you improve and be a better person. So what I extracted from the Joker was that this man got to the point where he didn't care about the opinions of others, and he was so gung-ho on his goal, which was to expose Gotham, expose the world, everyone's evil, no one, blah blah blah. Even though he might have taken it to an extreme, he still relinquished or gave up the caring of what society might think of him. And I think that for a lot of people, that's like the only thing that holds them back from really truly being great in this world, is that they still have an inclination to care or believe. Even myself, caring and believing, oh, what people would think about me if I do this or if I do that. And to an extent, you leave a lot on the table because you're not willing to be the Joker in your own life. You're not willing to be seen as the I mean, I don't know another word to say this, but be seen as the lunatic in your circle. When you fully believe in something, you go all in on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way I like to dissect movies a lot of the times is take certain elements that may not be portraying that said thing, but then flip it in my own way. So although the Joker in most circles is considered a bad person, in my mind, some of his ideologies are helpful if you want to get ahead in your life. If you want to overcome your fears and doubts, especially as an artist, and you want to fully tap into what you were created to do in your style and not care about what other people think and just go for it, you kind of have to have a little bit of that Joker insane mentality to just go for it, straight up. You know what I'm saying? I just got a couple of pictures here that stills from the movie. But it's just like, this man had a mental illness. But the thing about this, right, is like, in the movie he was portrayed to have a mental illness. But still, even with all of that, he was willing to kind of like step outside the matrix. Because if you think about it, if you really truly think about it, in terms of how the world is, gas prices are high, inflation, it's hard to get a job, people are miserable at their jobs, they feel like they're just barely hanging on a thread, they're just existing, living paycheck to paycheck. Even if you're making a good salary, you still feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people are on their last leg. A lot of people are like 1 centimeter away of flipping the switch and becoming a Joker in their own lives, but in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a lot of grit and self-control to see what is happening to yourself, to see what is happening in the world, and become the Joker in your life, but in a good way. To kind of bet on yourself and have a little bit of faith and go after something, go after a dream, go after a belief, go after a goal, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how insane you may look or sound to other people, and still do it anyways, not knowing if it's going to work, but believing that it will. And I'm of the belief that if you believe something will work and you actually put in the work to achieve it, then it's inevitable that it will happen, right? And that's one of the takeaways that I personally got from the Joker movie and from the Dark Knight, but mainly from the Joker movie. That you gotta be okay with being crazy. You gotta be okay with being seen as the lunatic, as the Joker, as the one who doesn't seem like they have it all together because they're so hyper fixated and focused on this one thing that people are like, bro, do you not see what's happening in the world? Don't even chase your dreams, bro. Like, this doesn't even matter. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm literally sitting here. I wake up every day and I work on my goals without fail. I work on my art every day without fail, knowing the state of the world, knowing that the world is crumbling every single day as we speak, and we're getting closer and closer to the great and glorious day of the Most High, right? And the mark of the beast and all that stuff. I'm aware of that. But I feel like you get to a point, hopefully, where it's like life is becoming so stressful and just the way the world is just so messed up that you get to a point where you're just like, you know what? Now actually is the perfect time to actually just try to achieve my goal or my dream or whatever the case may be, or my artistic goal or whatever it is. Because if I don't, then I will truly lose my mind. And obviously for those that believe in the Most High and you have a relationship with God, that is literally the fabric that holds you together. Like, if I didn't have God in my life, I don't think I'd be out here like the Joker killing people, but I would be in pretty bad shape. But there are a lot of people who don't have God in their life, who don't have a spiritual foundation. They're literally just here, but they're pretending like everything's okay when it's not. And I think that's one of the themes in this movie, the Joker movie, that I really liked, that he over time showed in himself through playing the Joker and embodying it, is that although he had a mental illness, he was aware that this world was messed up, or the world he lived in was messed up. The system was messed up. It didn't care for the patients. I can't remember. I think there was a point in time where he was in like the office to get like insurance or something. She was saying like he was denied his medicine because of some policy, some politics. I don't know. It was something that people experience now, where he wasn't able to receive something that he needed because of, what is it? What's the right word? Because of policies, because of playing politics. And that, along with all the other things he experienced, it just took him over the edge. And he wanted to prove a point. Obviously, he did it in a very negative way. But he's still braver than most people. Because there's a lot of people who have a belief, who have an ideology, who want to go after something, who want to stand for something, but they just won't do it because of being afraid of what your parents may say, your siblings, your best friend, your friend circle, your co-workers, your inner circle, your community. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not dogging anyone that feels that way, because to an extent, that's something that I'm working on as well. We're all working on that. Because at the end of the day, human nature, you just want to be accepted, right? But still, I know this may sound like a, I don't want to say a taboo, not taboo. This may sound like a broken record, because I'm sure you've heard it before, but the clock is ticking. And not this, I don't want to say that to be like, oh, you like to like make you panic or make you frantic, But it's something to keep in mind that you won't live forever, and one day it will be your time to go. So if you know that, and you know that time is being sped up, especially if you believe in biblical prophecy, and you know that tomorrow's not promised, and at any point you could be up out of here, I could be up out of here, then each day you need to be making small steps to go after that thing or voice that ideology. Obviously, you don't do it in a way that this man did it, because man killed people. Don't do that. But still, outside of that, because I'm also of the belief that, like I said earlier, you can still extract a beneficial or an uplifting theme from something that may be deemed as morally wrong or negative. And I say that very, very carefully, because I'm not condoning anything that is morally wrong or anything that is evil. I'm just saying that in everything in this world, there's always some bit of light that you can pull out of it, even if it doesn't seem like you can. That's just how I like to see things. But yeah, man, the Joker, man. If you watched the movie, you saw the transition, and I love when directors and the screenwriters and whoever else was involved, when they use color to show the progression of a character arc, if that makes any sense. Like this scene right here is at the beginning of the movie, more so. That was when he was in the mental hospital. But this is like in the beginning of the movie, right? He's wearing like muted colors, like burnt orange, brown, black pants and whatnot. And then as the movie goes on a little bit more, you see that he's wearing, well, this is what his work outfit, but he was wearing like the yellow vest, and I think, I can't remember, was the jacket red? I can't remember, but this was like middle of the movie. And then when he fully embraces, I can't remember if this and this were around the same time, but I know that once he got to this stage, he fully embraced himself as the Joker, and he even dyed his hair. So it's like his hair was brown. I think he either dyed it red or green. I can't remember. Might have been green. He definitely dyed his hair though. That was one of the scenes in the movie. But at this point, he was fully Joker, fully in whoever he believed he was supposed to be. But the colors got brighter. But at the same time, he got eviler. But then it's like, did he become more evil, or did he just pull out what was deep rooted inside him all this time? He just didn't know how to show it at the time. You know what I'm saying? But I just like how there's a contrast there, because at this point he killed people in this suit, and he went on his little antics and caused riots in the city in the suit. But the colors are bright and vibrant, but also the red maybe representing blood and whatnot. But basically, all in all, what I'm saying is that become the Joker in your own life, and in a way that benefits you and can uplift those around you. A lot of times, there are people who know that they are the black sheep of their family. They are different than those around them, those in their inner circle, but they aren't acting upon it because you will stand out, and many times you will be ridiculed for it. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you believe that you've been called to a higher purpose, you gotta jump into that and go after it now. You can't keep waiting, because it's gonna come a point where you're gonna be at this crossroads between your physical and your spirit, and the spirit is just gonna override the physical if you keep waiting, and then you're just gonna have to go all in with it, and then you're truly gonna be seen as crazy then. You know what I'm saying? It's better to like gradually build yourself up and do what it is that you were called to do, and become more deep into that, than be like compressing yourself so much until one day you literally just explode and go full in whatever it is that you were supposed to do, and it's almost like a 180 overnight. people like, well, what happened? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like in a negative way. I'm just saying like in a way where you are embodying who you were meant to be, and people just don't understand it. It's better to like ease your way into it, but some people it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Joker's definitely braver than most people. And doesn't care about what other people think about him. He went after his mission, and he did what he wanted to do. Did it hurt people? Of course. But like I said, every movie and really every element of life is not just cut and dry. It's not just about, oh, is this good or is this bad? You know what I'm saying? Obviously there's a morality, there is a standard, there's biblical standards that we should live by that are good to help us live a better quality of life, and there's like commandments and stuff that the Most High tells us to keep. But outside of that as well, just in your daily life, everything really isn't so cut and dry. Like I remember this is crazy. I remember like 5 years ago, maybe how many years ago was it? I don't know, like I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, I was briefly talking to this girl, and she told me that. And I was going down, I was like, what about this? What about that? She's like, everything isn't what you think it is. Obviously, there are, like she basically said what I was saying, like there are standards and there's a sense of morality, but it's not so cut and dry as this is good and this is bad. Because there's always a deeper spiritual implication to everything, if that makes any sense. And I didn't understand her at the time, and I think that was part of the reason why I might have stopped talking to her, because like we just didn't see eye to eye. But I just wasn't spiritually unlocked to understand that at the time she was more spiritual than I was in that way. But yeah, man, don't let the Joker be braver than you. Really go after it and see what happens, because you really have nothing to lose at all. Job market is cooked. People struggling to even get a regular job, people graduating college, and it's just hard to even find an entry level position. So you might as well just bet on yourself and create your own way, create your own source of income, create your own avenue for generational wealth. That's really it. And not be afraid to step out and be a sore thumb. And this is so corny what I'm about to say, but because it makes no sense, but it came to my mind. Be a sore thumb in a room full of fingers. That makes no sense, but that's what came to my mind. Be a sore thumb in a room full of fingers. You know what the image that I got was? The fingers, those little finger, dang, what was it? Those finger soldiers from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I think that's the movie. They were like finger soldiers. Let me see if I can pull that up. This new generation, I don't know about that. That movie was... Maybe it wasn't Shark Boy and Lava Girl. You are likely thinking of the iconic Thumb Thumbs. Ah, no, it wasn't Shark Boy and Lava Girl. From the Spy Kids franchise. Thumb Thumbs, yeah. Thumb Thumbs. Even that, this new generation don't know about that. Thumb Thumbs. Spy Kids. Yeah. This is what I was thinking about. Yeah. Be a sore thumb in a room full of fingers. Seriously. And lock in with your goals and dreams. That's that's another reason why I personally think Joker is one of the greatest written characters in comic history ever. Like if I were to join in Marvel and DC, and if someone would ask me what are your top 5 comic characters between Marvel and DC ever, the Joker is in my top 5. If we're not separating it from DC and Marvel, just mix them together, Joker is definitely my top 5. My number 1, hands down, is Spider-Man. Spider-Man has been my favorite comic character since I was like 2 years old. Maybe not 2, but like 5. If you look at my photo album from when I was a child, I had Spider-Man toys, I had Spider-Man blankets, Spider-Man pajamas, Spider-Man comforters, Spider-Man pillows, even Spider-Man probably backpack, maybe Spider-Man shoes. Every year for a while, maybe for a good 3-4 years, when my mom was, I don't know if she ever asked me, but she would know and be like, oh, what do you want? What type of cake do you want? Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man was my guy since an early age. Still my guy. Like, I'm really excited to see that Spider-Man movie. I ain't even gonna lie, I'm more excited to see the Spider-Man movie coming out in July than Doomsday. And I really want to see Doomsday, but I'm more excited to see the Spider-Man movie. And I think the trailer's about to drop, like, in a day, 2 days. Think like, I heard it was gonna be dropping, like, June 17th. Today's June 16th right now, when I'm recording this. But Spider-Man's in there. And what else would I put up in there? Spider-Man. Oh yeah, Spider-Man. Silver Surfer's in there. Joker's in there. I really like Wolverine. I really like Logan. But my mind is blanking right now. I know there's other characters that I just not remembering. But 3 definites. Spider-Man number 1. And then somewhere in that top 5 is a Silver Surfer, and then somewhere in that top 5 is the Joker. Would I put Batman in my top 5? When it comes to The Dark Knight, I love that movie. That's my favorite movie. I listen to Dark Knight soundtrack so much. Both of them, from Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. I love the suit, everything black. You know, I'm all about wearing black and all that. Like, I do embody that to an extent, the Dark Knight. But just Batman in general, would I consider him one of my favorite comic characters? I really have to think on that, because I only got 2 slots left. Wait, yeah, I only got 2 slots left, because I have Spider-Man, Joker, and Silver Surfer, which are definites. Those are like definites. So I only have 2 slots left, so I have to really think about that. But if it came down to it, I probably would put Batman in that top 5, because Batman is sick. Superman, was never really into Superman. I just think that he's too perfect. I like characters that have some type of flaw and have some type of humanity to them. Like, they're like not just straight up indestructible. Like, that's so boring. But yeah, I'm going on a tangent. But yeah, be brave like the Joker. Tap into your gifts. Always tap into your childlike spirit, and really just go after it. Don't care what people think. And even if you do care, do it afraid. Because the more you do something over and over and over again, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're so locked in and focused and tapped in with whatever you're supposed to do, whatever you were sent here from the heavenly realms to do, that it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter how you're portrayed or how crazy everything seems, because you know that you are where you're supposed to be. And when you're in alignment with whatever it is that God created you to do, everything works out, and eventually people start to see that. And then everyone's like, oh, how'd you do it? Oh, praising you and stuff. But it's not about the praisal, because we give all praises to the Most High, right? But that's literally how it is for everyone. You're crazy until you get it done and you achieve it, and then people worship you. That's just the human condition. Don't know why people are like that, but it is what it is. People aren't going to understand your mission until it's complete. And then when it's complete, a lot of people try to pretend that, like, oh yeah, I was rocking with. Nah, bro. But it's all good though, because you weren't meant to understand it, because it wasn't your mission. And now that the mission is complete, or it's developed, because the completion of the mission could be your whole life. But once you get to the point where, like, it's known, and you're seeing progress and you're seeing growth and opportunities from it, the best thing that comes from that is other people are inspired by it, and then it helps them get on their goal, get on their dream, and hopefully ultimately brings them to God, especially if you're someone who glorifies the Most High and gives all credit to God when you do reach success or you do unlock another level of yourself, another level of like Christ consciousness. So yeah, Spider-Man, Silver Surfer, Joker. I'm gonna think about the rest. I don't know. I really have to think about that. That's a good question that I asked myself. But yeah, be brave, lock in, fulfill your mission. Peace.